Hey everyone, welcome back, and this is another movie review. Right, this is my review of the film The Hunger Games, a 2011 film, came out late 2011, and I rewatched it recently, and I'm reviewing it now, just in preparation for Catching Fire is coming out, which I am so fucking psyched for, because I only had 2 issues with this, movie. Alright. Which I'll talk about later on, of course. But in general, though, I loved this movie. I can't wait for Catching Fire to come out. Alright, and to tell you the truth, I read the first book all the way through, and I did not like it. I don't know why. It's just, for some reason, I just couldn't get into the book. Alright, but I loved the movie, and I can't wait for Catching Fire. Alright, this movie was directed by Gary Ross and produced by Nina Jacobson and John Cleek, and the screenplay by Gary Ross, Suzanne Collins, and Billy Ray. And it's based on the Hunger Games book by Suzanne Collins, and it's starring. On the casting. The hell? Okay, yeah, casting. Or cast. It stars Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss Everdeen, Josh Hutcherson as Peeta Mellark, Liam Hemsworth as Gale Hawthorne, Woody Harrelson as Hamish Abernathy, Elizabeth Banks as Ethel Trinket, and Rue is played by Amandla Steinberg, and Cinna is played by Lenny Kravitz. President Coriolanus Snow was played by Donald Sutherland. Yeah, I think it's really all the important roles in the movie. So, let's talk about what The Hunger Games is exactly about first. So, The Hunger Games is about, well, like 74 years, I guess, before the start of the movie. There were wars that broke out and rebellions. That's the basic gist of it. There were a shit ton of rebellions and a shit ton of lives lost. So, for the past 74 years, they've been holding the Hunger Games, basically to help remember this, in terms of honor, I guess. And this is the 74th annual Hunger Games. And there are 12 districts, District 1 through 12, and there are 2 people chosen to be in the Hunger Games from each district, a man and a woman. Alright, Katniss Everdeen is our main character. She's the woman from District 12, and Peeta, her love interest in this movie, is also from District 12, the man from District 12. Alright, and the movie really focuses mainly around them trying to survive in the Hunger Games. There are a total of 24 of them, and the 2 of them are the only ones that are still living at the end. Alright, so it really makes for an interesting dynamic, and I thought that the movie did its tension and suspense and emotions very well. So, yeah, now let's talk about the characters. There's really no characters in this movie that no characters that actually get a decent amount of screen time anyways that I disliked. Yeah, there's a lot of douchebag, contestants here, alright, who just want to kill and survive, which is common, and it's something I usually don't like in douchebag characters, but in this movie, I actually really do like it, and it's all because of the setup. Alright, because you really see that in the Hunger Games, they're being chosen to kill or be killed can really do something. Can really turn some people mad. And other people just do it for the pride and honor of their district. Which is another kind of a good reason, I think. Pride and honor. All right, but in all, they are still huge fucking douchebags. But I think it's a bit justified though, and I actually like their characters in that regard. All right, of course, there's President Snow, who I'm assuming is like the head of the entire Hunger Games thing. All right, and he doesn't get a whole lot of screen time in this, although considering the trailer of Part 2, I'm guessing that he might get some more there, hopefully, but a lot more, I mean. But yeah, and Peeta's also a really likable character, and one of my favorite things about this, actually, is the subplot of the romantic relationship between Katniss and Peeta, because I thought that it was done very, well. All right, I really did. You're always rooting for them to be together, and they do end up together at the end. And the thing is, the original rules were only one person could survive. However, near the end of the movie, they actually do change it up to where two can survive. And just when those two are the last ones living, they change it up again to where only one can survive. So they're about to eat poisonous berries. Both of them. Okay, then they decide to negate that rule and allow them both to win. So I, at the end of the movie there, so I thought that was really good. All right, another really cool character is Haymitch, who apparently won the Hunger Games himself before. All right, and his character isn't explored as much as I would have liked in this movie. I really hope that in the next film they'd explore him a little bit more, because he seems to be, like, through all the torment that these people go through, you'd think he'd be mentally scarred or something, at least a little bit, but he doesn't show any sign of it. So I mean, I suppose it could have hardened him enough to where he wouldn't, or hardened him enough to where it didn't happen at all, but I hope that they explore maybe his past a little bit. I'd even take like 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the very most. And 15 to 20 minutes is at the very most. Alright, just to explore him a little bit more in the next film. But he was still a likable character here. He was funny at times, he was served as kind of like a good father figure for both Peeta and Katniss, especially Katniss. Alright, gave them really good advice for the Hunger Games. Because really it's survival of the fittest. You have to know a shit ton of survival skills, hunting skills, tracking skills, and all sorts of other skills in order to survive. Alright. Now, another character that I liked was Senna, who also tried really hard to help out, Katniss. Alright. And whatnot. So Senna's a likable character. And another character I liked, even though she got one of my favorite characters in the movie, even though she got very little screen time, was actually Rue. Rue was I forget which district she was from. She was just a little girl, probably the youngest there. Alright, which just goes to show you how cruel these people are, because they'll send someone that fucking young there, okay? And Rue and Katniss, even though they're from different districts, they do end up making friends. Alright? And joking around with each other. But there is a member of a different district altogether that ends up trying to take out Katniss and instead ends up taking out Rue. Which is, of course, sad, and Katniss does bury Rue and then mourns her death. And later on, that same woman tries to come back and kill Katniss again, but Rue's partner from her district comes and kills that woman, and then leaves Katniss alone, basically just to thank her for what she did for Rue. Alright. So yeah, and overall, it was just, like, I didn't dislike a single character in this movie. And that's saying a lot. Like, there were characters I liked more or less than others, of course, but all of the major characters, which were, of course, Haymitch, okay, I take that back. That stupid bitch, that at the beginning of the movie announces the Hunger Games, yeah, I didn't like her at all. Okay. She's probably like the only one, Katniss, Peeta, Haymitch, Senna, all of the other tributes. You know, no matter how big of douchebags they are, I like them all. All right. Including Rue, of course. You know, I even President Snow and his associate who died at the very end ate some poisonous berries. I assume that's because, like, I think he made a bet that, like, either one of them or both of them would die, and he would make it happen, and since that didn't happen, he had to eat poisonous berries and die. And, you know, he was a man of his word. I mean, he ate them. We didn't get to see him eat them, but we know what happened. He's fucking dead, okay? So, yeah. I didn't, except for that one bitch, I did not dislike a single character here. And it seemed like Peter's mom was kind of a bitch too from the brief flashbacks that we've seen of her, but I can't be certain because there weren't any sound in those flashbacks except for like music, so I can't really be too sure, you know. But yeah, all right. But anyways, though, the acting is really fucking good too. It is spot on. Like, I didn't. Even with the one character that I didn't like, that stupid old bitch, she still did really good acting. Every character was spot on with their acting. The cinematography was also really good, and the music was perfect. It was lots of real booming, like, drums and whatnot when the action really picked up, and when there wasn't any action, there were lots of pianos or violins that really helped the mood there as well. Okay. Yeah, overall the story is just very original. At least I've never seen anything like it before myself. So, yeah. Hold on a sec here. However, I did mention before that I did have two problems with this movie. One, it's kind of a minor thing, but I do feel the need to mention it, is that I just felt that there were way too many, like, just worthless fodder characters. What do I mean by that? Like, all the characters that are in white, for example, in this movie. Way too fucking many of them. Like, why do they need so many fucking workers? This was never explained, so I consider them to be worthless, okay? The scenes with them aren't worthless because they generally have some other important protagonist or antagonist in there, and there's interesting dialogue. So the scenes with them aren't worthless; they're just worthless themselves. Not all of them, but having that many, I honestly think is. Excuse me. And the other issue that I had with the movie happened I believe just over the hour mark. By the way, this movie was actually like. Hold on, I'm gonna check here real quick. This movie is 2 hours and 22 minutes and 33 seconds long, so it's actually a really long movie. It's almost 2.5 hours, but you know. And the thing about that is that I really don't think they wasted literally any time either, which is great. But anyways, back to my last complaint about the movie is that. I think it happened like somewhere just over the hour mark, where they were doing like a montage. I think this may have been right after. I know it was just over the hour mark, so you can go check there if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I think it may have been right after Katniss blew up all those landmines, and she basically couldn't hear for a little while. All right, there's like this montage with no sound except for like a beeping noise, and I just didn't think the montage was done well. I could barely tell what was fucking going on. Alright, maybe this was just me, but this is something that I noticed, so I had to mention it. I did personally think that was done actually quite bad. Okay. Whatever. Anyways, but yeah, like I said before, though, this movie was really fucking long, but they didn't waste any time. Every single scene had meaning. Okay? And that's the really important thing when you're making a movie this long. If you want your movie to be this long, that's fine. Hell, I would watch a 5-hour movie. I'm not kidding. They obviously wouldn't allow that in theaters. But I would watch it as long as every single one of your scenes has meaning. And every scene in this movie I felt had meaning to it, alright. Which was really fucking good, obviously. So yeah. Anyways, though, I think I'm about ready to wrap up this review. Overall, I thought that The Hunger Games was a very good film. I actually saw it in theaters when it came out back in late 2011. Alright, it was a school trip, basically, for me and several other students and teachers. Alright. And I saw it there, in the local movie theater. And I loved it back then, and I think it actually got better the second time I watched it just now. I'm not kidding. I actually think it got better. Okay. And I don't know why, but I just for some reason, think I like it more now than I did then. I loved it then, but I love it even more now. Granted, there were those two issues I had with the movie, but other than that, I think it's really good. So I'm going to give this movie a final rating of 8.5 out of 10. And yeah, I think it's a really good movie that you should definitely check out. And yeah, so I can't wait for Catching Fire to come out. When it comes out, I will watch it, hopefully in theaters, and then I will review it too, alright? I can't wait. I've seen the trailer, and the trailer looks fucking epic as shit, okay? So, yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna come out actually the 22nd, which I'm gonna be at an anime convention the 22nd, and the 23rd, and the 24th. But, you know, I can still do it, though. I'll still be able to go watch it, though, obviously. So, yes. But anyways, overall, hope you enjoyed this review, guys. See you after, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.